From the National Newsroom of the Canadian Press, I'm John Kennedy. Global Affairs Canada is warning Canadians who are in Lebanon they may not be able to get out if a regional war sparks. More than 20,000 Canadians are registered in the country, all of which are being told the government won't be able to help them leave the country if the current tensions in the Middle East boil past the point of return and the country is engulfed in warfare. The agency posted to social media that some airlines have already temporarily suspended service to Beirut, and additional travel disruptions are likely. Canada has been planning for a possible evacuation of its citizens since last October, but also warns evacuations are not always possible. The U.S. Secretary of State Antony Blinken is appealing to all parties in the Middle East to avoid escalatory actions that could plunge the region into further conflict. The remarks come as prayers were held by Iran's supreme leader and representatives of the Palestinian militia groups for Hamas leader Ismail Haniyeh and his bodyguard. Blinken says a ceasefire is in the interest of everybody in the Middle East.
It's in the interest of Israelis. It's in the interest of Palestinians. It's in the interest of the region. So as long as everyone is focused on what their core interests actually are, I believe that not only will we keep working to reach a deal, we will reach a deal because it is simply imperative that we do so.
No one immediately claimed responsibility for Wednesday's attack, but suspicion quickly fell on Israel, which has vowed to kill Haniyeh and other Hamas leaders over the group's October 7th attack on Israel that sparked the war in Gaza. Hundreds of temporary foreign workers living in Jasper, Alberta are facing complications to their situation now that many workplaces have been destroyed due to the wildfire that swept through the town. All 25,000 people in Jasper National Park, including 5,000 from the town site, were given 5 hours to get out. Scrambling to help those who are now stuck in limbo, Executive Director Heidi Vulu says her staff at the Jasper Employment and Education Center are helping roughly 90 people per day replace lost passports and work documents. The Canadian Coast Guard says 2 new Arctic patrol vessels will be named after northern glaciers. The Coast Guard says the first vessel will be known as the CCGS Donjik Glacier, which is named after the glacier in the Kluane National Park in the Yukon. A ceremony was also held in the Irving shipyard in Halifax to note the construction start of the second Coast Guard ship, which will be known as the CCGS Sermelik Glacier, in honor of a glacier found in Nunavut. This is the Canadian Press. In sports, the Toronto Blue Jays will get a rest on Thursday before kicking off a 3-game series in the Bronx against the New York Yankees. MajorLeagueBaseball.com is listing the Jays starter for the first game as Kevin Gausman, while the Yankees are expected to start former Jay Marcus Stroman. The Winnipeg Blue Bombers will be without receiver Drew Wolitarsky and defensive lineman Pat Newfield when the team hosts the BC Lions on Thursday. Both Wolitarsky and Newman are listed as injured and have been moved to the 6-game injured list. The Bombers currently have 13 players on the list, the highest of any team in the CFL. French swimmer Leon Marchand thrilled fans at the Paris Olympics, winning back-to-back gold medals in 2 races 2 hours apart and setting an Olympic record in both. The 22-year-old Frenchman has drawn some comparisons to the U.S. Olympics great Michael Phelps. From the Canadian Press, I'm John Kennedy.
Thanks for listening. Don't forget to follow and subscribe. For more of today's top stories, visit thecanadianpressnews.ca.